Bo, we've heard that Arsenal has sacked Unai Emery. Who should they replace him with as their manager?
Wow. Well, as a big Arsenal fan, this is a topic very, very close to my heart, and I've spent countless sleepless nights pondering this topic. Who should be the one to replace Unai Emery? And I've come to the conclusion that the best replacement is over in Manchester City. No, not Pep Guardiola. His assistant, MIKEL Arteta. He would be the best replacement for Unai Emery, and he's the one to take Arsenal Football Club forward. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Okay, good.
100%. Give me a little explanation why, though.
The way I think about it is I look at Chelsea, and I look at Chelsea right now and the approach they've taken under Frank Lampard. Now, Frank Lampard had pretty much no experience before Chelsea hired him. He spent a year at Derby, was reasonably successful, took them to the playoffs, finals, and the championship. But besides that, he had no pedigree. There's nothing there that said, yeah. He if you look at all the other Chelsea bosses, they were up here. Pedigrees wise, trophy wise, and Lampard was here, but they hired him, and he was a club legend, and he brought this really good feel-good factor to Chelsea. I mean, you watch Chelsea now; they're fun to watch. You see youngsters coming through the academy: Abraham, Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Reece James, all these youngsters, Tomori getting involved, and it's kind of like, wow, I'm not a Chelsea fan, but it's fun to watch Chelsea because of the type of style Lampard's implemented, and I believe Arsenal can do the exact same thing. Not with Lampard, not with Freddie Ljungberg, but with Mikel Arteta, who is a very, very skillful manager, according to many sources. They said Guardiola himself said if when he's to leave Manchester City, Mikel Arteta should be his successor. And what better praise than arguably the best manager in the world, or one of the best managers in the world. And if Arsenal can snatch him, we will be lucky, and we will be heading forward.
And Mikel Arteta, to add on to all you said, learning under Pep Guardiola, that and the brand of football that they play at Manchester City. Do you think Arsenal fans, they would love to have that at Arsenal? He's played for the club. He's got experience under Guardiola. He's worked his way up. He's actually has more pedigree than I would say Lampard did going into this job. Obviously, he's not quite the player Lampard was, but he will buy time because fans will believe in him because he once played for Arsenal Football Club. He knows what it takes.
He's an Arsenal captain, and I think maybe I'm not quite sure about whether or not he has more experience than Lampard. Lampard was a head coach. I think there's a difference between being an assistant and then becoming a head coach, and that's something that Arteta would have to learn if he was hired by Arsenal. But it's still under Guardiola, and it's a manager that we've seen time and time again. And the fact that Guardiola thinks so highly of him, the fact that he said, oh, when I leave Manchester City have to make this man the head coach if they want to continue success. I think that goes a long way in the footballing world when a great praises another great, because greatness recognizes greatness. And the other way I want to think about it is I look at the other candidates for the Arsenal job, the ones that are being mentioned. You have Allegri, Ancelotti. People have said Pochettino. I don't count that. I don't think he'd ever do that. I think he's personally looking at the United job. But like Allegri, Ancelotti, even Brendan Rodgers, I don't think he would leave Leicester right now. No. I think Brendan Rodgers would be a great appointment if he was available. But obviously he's at Leicester City right now. He's doing a fantastic job there. I mean, Leicester City, they're in the title race right now. And when I look at Allegri, I think there's been a lot of talk. He's not good at English. I think it was something that was a problem with Emery towards the end of his days, is when he would speak in his press conferences, people really, they misunderstood what he was saying. I think a lot of times the message he was trying to deliver was a lot different from what the media took it in because his English wasn't that great. And I think that's something that would come with Allegri. To me, I feel like that's less of an issue. I would say part of the reason a big reason at least, why I would have Arteta, why I would hire him, is because he's played for the club. He knows what it means to play for Arsenal Football Club. He has, the fans know who he is. It's someone, he understands what it is to play for an Arsenal shirt, and what's something that we've seen an issue with these players. They don't play for the shirt. So having a manager like Arteta, he will demand that those players put in that kind of work. We just saw it with Xhaka. We just saw their captain walk off the field and tell their fans to F off. So it's clear that they need someone who knows the importance, knows the history
of the club and what it means to play for Arsenal Football Club. And Mikel Arteta, combined with his tactical awareness and all his experience under Pep Guardiola, I think is the best fit because of that.
Yeah, I agree with that somewhat. I think that shouldn't be your initial instinct though. Someone that's played. Oh, we need to bring a club legend back.
But it's also his tactical.
Yeah, and that's the argument I made is how could he's proven Guardiola claims he is, his potential. But if you make the argument that you have to bring someone in that's familiar with the club, then we're actually probably better candidates are Ljungberg or Patrick Vieira or Thierry Henry. They've all been mentioned.
It's the combination of the two, though.
And that's what I'm saying. But I want to just make a parallel to Manchester United. Manchester United, they brought in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and they're like, well, he's a club legend, and look at where they are now.
But he had never anywhere near that kind of experience and tactical brain.
No, and that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm saying this decision shouldn't solely come down to whether or not the candidate is a club legend, because then you're not just looking at guys like Arteta. In fact, Arteta's not as much as a legend as the likes of Ljungberg or Henry or Patrick Vieira. So I agree. I think Arteta has to be the one that comes in, but not solely because he played for the club, but because he's also learnt under a great, arguably the greatest teacher, Pep Guardiola himself. Mm-hmm. And that's my main reasoning about it. Because we don't want no Ole situation in here. We don't want Ole to come in. We don't want a Ljungberg to come in and do what Ole's doing at United.
And on top of that, Allegri, I don't think the fit, he wouldn't get the time that he would need.
He can't speak English. He can't speak English. It's simple as that.
I don't think that's important as you're making it. I feel like he wouldn't get the time that he would get because he's expected right off the bat to absolutely smash it because he has that world-class manager title. Whereas someone like Arteta, they would give him time. And that's with the kind of Arsenal fan base they have right now that I would say is a little toxic, just a little bit. You're gonna need to have a manager that will get time, and the Arsenal fans will provide that for someone they know and trust.
Yeah, for sure. And just one other person I mentioned but never really talked about is Ancelotti, who I actually, if not Arteta, I would personally love them to bring in Ancelotti, if not Arteta or Rodgers, but I don't count Rodgers as a possibility. I think Ancelotti is someone who's done it in England before. He won with Chelsea, and I think he's a top manager who would come in and really turn this Arsenal team around. But he's not a long-term solution. Ancelotti's similar to Mourinho in the sense that he only sticks around for 3, 4, 5 years. And so, when you bring in someone like Arteta, you're looking really long-term. And I think that's where the Arsenal Football Club, that's the direction they should be going. And Ancelotti, although he probably would do something similar to as what Mourinho is going to do at Spurs, it wouldn't be a long-term solution. And Arsenal right now, we desperately need a long-term solution.
Mm-hmm. There you go, folks. Mikel Arteta should be the next manager of Arsenal Football Club.